Welcome back to Big Red Rant, everybody. Gary and I have had a chance to rewatch the entire game against North Dakota from start to finish. We want to show you exactly what's going on with our offensive line and defensive line.
So here we've got our left tackle is playing right tackle for some reason. I don't know what that whole thing's about. And he just doesn't get good leverage and lets the guy get right on the inside of him. He can't, the only thing he has to do there is hold him or try to tackle him. The rest of the line does a decent job of, giving a front or somewhat of a pocket there. But as he's backpedaling, he never plants, he never gets leverage and gets his hips inside. I mean, the guy's obviously smaller than him, and he just gets him too deep to where he can come in and blindside Casey. Casey never sees it coming. It looks, real time watching it, looks really bad. Right after we get a punt block, we have really good field position coming off of scoring last time we had the ball. And then this is the first play. Bam, they got the ball back. And it looks like, especially there, you see all the offensive linemen running back to him. And that's one where I was for sure like, God, this offensive line. And then we go back and break it down. And it's really one bad play, one bad technique or whatever in the pass pro. And the guy gets inside and it changes, huge change in momentum.
So, man, I didn't know that Ramir even got in the game at all, but here we almost had an explosive play from him. They give him this screen play, and it almost works. Take a look at this. They bite. The entire defensive line bites on it. He's right behind him, and he's also got a couple of blockers top right. If this doesn't get tipped right here, look at the real estate, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, this is another example. The line does what it's supposed to do. But this is kind of, I think, what Frost is talking about with not just tempo, but rhythm. Like, offense needs to get a rhythm going. He talked about that at halftime. In the second half, he said, we finally got some rhythm going on offense in the second half. And it's not just the line needs to blow people up to make things happen. This is a perfect opportunity. Casey's going to have to start completing a lot of passes at a higher efficiency rate, kind of like he did the beginning of the Northwestern game, so that they can extend these drives. Right here, if he throws it out towards the B on the Big Ten logo and lets Ramir go get it, lobs it over that guy, lobs it over all the traffic, he catches it out there with momentum building. He's got two guys out in front, two guys on his backside, because he's going to have to probably make a move. But this is just a small sample of things that we found throughout going through there where the line's supposed to let him through. It's a screen, but he had the protection he needed, so it wasn't just a full collapse. They set up, had guys going downfield to block for him. It could have been a big play that, had it not been for a penalty, you're looking at just a 2nd and 10 and missing out on, what could have been with that. And maybe that's a play that really gets Ramir going and we start seeing him more. I don't know, but it's just, there's kind of a lot to this one play that stuck out to me when we went back and watched it, from the line to the accuracy. Kind of tied that in when you and I were talking about Casey's interception, where you didn't really see the guy that was kind of behind the ref. A little bit more efficiency in the pass game if we're going to pass as much as we are, and keep the flow going, get the rhythm going. You're clear back and not great field position. That'd be a really good way to start that drive off. So this one here is either a miscommunication, but it looks like the right guard needs to stand out. I mean, the pass protection is there helping seal off the edge with the tackle. So either the tackle needs to stay in or the guard needs to get out. But either way, I think one thought the other had it or somebody got beat, but they just get right between, and it makes everybody else sealed up. The whole left side of the line, the pass protection from, I think it's AJ, right? The pass protection's great. Everything is good. One guy gets through the middle and it just blows up the entire thing. Quarterback gets hit. He gets piled on by two other guys. It's just little simple things that I know we're all tired of hearing it, but in these press conferences, we're like, there's just little things that need to be fixed. This is a perfect example, man. I mean, two guys had a chance to seal that off. And then once that side collapsed and he tries going over, it the whole thing unravels.
Gary, here's the last couple of plays before half where they score 7 and tie it up. What did you see here?
Here they got linebacker outside with the safety on the inside and both on the end. But when the ball's snapped here, the safety's running down, like the play's coming in that side. He never gets his eyes into the backfield.
Number 8.
Yeah, so he's running the play, like in a contain almost, but he runs himself into the end zone. So even if he's playing the right angle, he's already in the end zone. He can't make the tackle. He's got to keep his eyes in the backfield, get a release here, and now we have two scot-free guys off the end of the linebacker and safety to come up, make that contact. And then when Reimer is hitting, he would be coming up helping him. It would have been blown up for most likely a loss, but definitely back at the line of scrimmage. And it's first and goal. They still got other attempts at it, but if he releases right there and cuts back in, that guy has nowhere to go, and he's going to have three guys untouched coming at him. I mean, his eyes aren't even in the backfield. He turns around and the guy's right behind him. I mean, yeah, and it's super hard to play defense in that deep in the red zone. I mean, it's kind of nitpicky, but I'm just saying this again, like the offensive plays we're looking at, it's little things like this that extend these drives, and like here it turns into points. It's not necessarily about stopping the touchdown. They score on the next play. They scored on that play, but they didn't give it to them, so they score on the next play. But overcommitting and not having good eye discipline in situations, and other times it's linebacker play, and it takes what should be either losses or very short runs, and they get nice little gouges. Northwestern turned those into big gouges. You know what I mean? We're going to play better teams that are going to do that. Same thing when guys are out of position, run themselves out of plays, aren't keeping good eye discipline, and there's a huge soft spot 6 yards over the middle, and they turn it into 12 or 13 yards. Those are the things that are extending these plays, keeping the defense on the field, not letting our offense get a good rhythm going. And, this is part of the reason why they dominated us in time of possession. Now, this is kind of the opposite. The corner's in the same spot the safety was at last time. This is where he kind of lets his eyes fool him. He sees that H-back moves, thinks, okay, I got to go. No, okay, he's in. So now he's convinced his run. He overcommits to the run, gets in the gap, and lets the guy go right by him that was in front of him. Doesn't get a hand on him, doesn't get a chip, anything. Caleb Tanner makes a play here and almost is able to bat it down. He gets a hand on it, but it's not enough. But the corner, he sees the movement gets him to thinking he's going to have to switch off of his guy and leave it for the safety, or I'm sorry, for the linebacker. When he goes back, I feel like he just is convinced his run. He wants to shoot the gap and not let him go. And by doing so, the guy that's right in front of him, he doesn't get a hand on, doesn't get in his way, nothing. He gets scot-free, and it's a wide open little toss over the edge there.
Really helped them going into the half, tied 7. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if we could have gotten a tackle on the previous play, either back at the line of scrimmage or lost a yard or two, even if they come back with this play. I know we're saying a lot of ifs, but I mean, you hold the team down here to a field goal at this point in time. People talk about that onside kick against Northwestern. This is a way you really swing momentum in your favor. They're knocking on the door. The best they can get is a field goal. Now they got to give you the ball to start the second half. This play is an example. Some of the big Grant runs were not just line up, get a hat on a hat and push the line, or the pro style runs that Whipple likes to do. This is more, you get a guy or two in the second level so you can get some contact on the linebackers and let them go. And you'll see the right tackle and the tight end set up in the H back there. They get through and then they whiff on their linebackers here. And they come in scot-free. Grant's trying to make something happen, but they're free to go and kind of contain him in the backfield until help can come and bottle him up. As shifty and quick and everything else as he is and was all day, it's hard, man. It's hard when you've got guys that are untouched, running you around and kind of corralling you until help comes. So it's like we have plays and we saw plays where it worked, where they got in the second level, got hats on hats, and he was able to make things happen past that point. But this is just an example of, when people are cracking on the line for not doing his job. If these two guys aren't free, he comes around that edge there. He can cut back again if the way exactly where he went, and it's sealed off. He can use his speed and his shiftiness to get around the edge.
Gary, this is also an example to me of our team actually having more talent, right? Grant is so talented. This is what we were talking about. We've got too much talent. We should be able to win regardless due to talent alone. This is a good example of that.
Yeah, for sure. And when you look, guys who are making contact at the line, they're doubling back and they're trying to come help clean up and do things. It's just at that point, too many guys have already been free. So when you release from a guy and go wherever, so it's not that there's a bunch of bums on the line like a lot of people keep saying. It's just one or two things can really make an entire line of scrimmage look bad. And this is kind of one of those examples. I mean, he still does a good job turning nothing into something, but that could have sprung for a lot more. It could have been a lot more of a momentum builder.
Now, this is where they tie us up 17-17. What did you see?
This is really good offense, really. Guys, not being able to get off of the blocks or not really shoot a gap and let another guy come clean up. Both of our both of our linebackers, but they're both playing in the middle here. The center's going to go straight into the second level, seal off one. The other back on the other side that doesn't get the ball comes up, seals off the other one, and there's just a huge gap. He can go in untouched. I don't know exactly what the play call is or the assignments on these guys, if they're supposed to stay home, discipline, things like that. But, if one guy can come up and even make contact there, the other guy comes over or try to plug the lanes. I don't know exactly what's called. Either way, nobody being able to get off and they get those two guys into the second level. That's exactly what we did when we had the long plays that worked. And here's just an example of them doing it to us. And there's nothing deep, there's nothing over the top in the back, and the guys on the edge don't have enough time to get around.
Now, Gary, this play gets completely blown up, but I want you to keep your eyes on Brewington. Blows up the defender. Brewington was all over this game when he got in. His blocking is so inspirational. He is gleeful about taking dudes' heads off. 11's excited about it, but Brewington lit his boy up. And you and I both saw a lot of really good things from Brewington.
Yeah, I want that dude in the game as much as he can possibly be in there. I mean, the receiver comes around the back. He just kind of misses that safety coming down. I don't think he was really anticipating it. By the time he does, it's too late. He's in the hole. But if he seals that off or even gets in the way enough that Grant can get outside, like you said, Brewington had that guy completely out of the play. And this is where things are really starting to click, or they start coming together. I think from here on out, we're pretty much showing when things are executed right, what it looks like, and we start getting that rhythm going. Brewington is key in a lot of the big plays we had. And also the receivers, there's a play later where Manning grabs his guy and pins him to where he's out of the play. So, I mean, it's just one thing here changes the play, and when we show some of these other plays, there's going to be one thing that really springs it or sets it. Obviously, other things are working, but I'm saying one thing going wrong can make it look like real time watching this play. It's like, Jesus, man, the line can't even let him get around the corner, or hit that little lane to get off the edge. So it's not really that cut and dry or that simple that it's just a trash line or whatever. Like, yeah, I've been saying, to be honest, and a lot of people are saying, going back and looking at it, you really start to see it's just some fine tuning could go a long ways. And it's going to be harder to fine tune against some of the bigger competition we're going to play. But hopefully next week we see things starting to get on pace a little bit quicker in the game. This is an example. Brewington's lined up in that H-back spot. He's going to come around the edge. He's going to get a good solid click on his guy, and then he's going to stick to him and seal that edge so that he can bounce out, or so that Grant can bounce out. Manning does a good job getting in his guy's way, getting down to the next guy. And if you look, Brewington's already almost down there ready to hit somebody again. But this is the line does its thing. The guy who's supposed to pull and block not only gets the block, but seals it, holds on to it, gives Grant a clear path to get out. Manning's out front, making sure that nobody has a clean angle or can get full speed to seal that edge off and pursue. With his speed, he's gone. He does really, really good job of knowing exactly where he needs to be angle-wise based on his speed, to where guys are just, it's too late. They can't get him.
Thank God for Anthony Grant.
Thank God for Anthony Grant, and a lot of these plays, thank God for Brewington.
Absolutely.
This play here is more of a Whipple type run, where it's the pro style lineup, hat on hat, push the guys, make a lane, and hold your block until the running back gets through there, and it's executed perfect. I think what I was basing things off of watching the game and being disappointed the line wasn't moved. But I mean, you see guys pile on guys, get them down. The lane's there for them to go through. It's sealed off. Nobody's coming through a gap scot-free. So, I mean, a lot of people think Frost took the play calling over in the second half. I doubt he called this play. So I think either he decided he'd be nice and let Whipple call a play, or what people are talking about wasn't true. It was a combo, pushing guys, sealing off the whole right side, leaving a gap, and he's got a good run lane. He's got enough burst to get through there, and that would have been good from 70 yards out.
All right, Gary, and then here finally they reward Brewington for all of his hard work. A beautiful play sets him up, and he muscles it in. What did you notice on this one?
I think him being primarily a blocker for so long kind of let people get lazy on worrying about him as a threat, in the passing game. He comes down off the edge. Nobody in that second level is worried about getting to him. the guys, 86 people like that seal off. Manning does a good job running his guy all the way to the back of the end zone and pinning him down there. And then it's just, he's athletic enough. He can run with his head turned, catch the ball, and, even with the contact, managed to get across the line. And at this point in the game, Nebraska was really instilling their will. I think their defense was getting more down because we had gone so run heavy for a while, like with A.J. Allen and things like that. This just goes to show, when you have guys that are going to go out there and crack people and do work and do things like that, the teams are going to get lazy in other ways. They get used to kind of what we showed on the other end, where we had guys with getting caught with their eyes in the backfield. We ran the ball so much on this possession, or this whole set right here, that everybody bites on the play fake, and then he's wide open on the edge, and there's really good blocks sealed off on the edge. And
yeah, shout out to Omar Manning. You see him up in the corner of the end zone up here, really locking his man up. Guy's much smaller than him, and he makes it look like that. Stay tuned for Gary and I's preview of Georgia Southern. We'll have that out probably Monday. Hit the like for us, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Skurs.